Hey, this is Jim. Welcome back to Silent Sales Machine Radio. So glad you've joined us today. We've got a very popular topic. I have a feeling that this one's going to set some records on the listener charts because it's private label selling on Amazon or on any website for that matter. But private label is such a hot topic. There's courses out there. You can pay thousands of dollars and you see these success stories and then you hear these disaster stories. Well, let's get to the bottom of it today. We've got our resident private label expert, Ryan Rieger, good friend of mine, known him for a long time. How you doing, Ryan?
Good, Jim. How are you?
Doing great, buddy. Doing great, man. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show. And
oh my gosh, it's an honor. My goodness. I'm like with Dan Miller and Rabbi Lapin. Holy cow, I'm glad I'm not after them.
That's how I feel, and it's my show. I mean, come on. Some of these guys are rock stars, right?
I know.
But hey, we've got a topic today that I know people are just going to eat up, and you've been doing a great job of simplifying this entire concept. And here's the cool thing for the listeners, just right off the bat. Brett Bartlett, my partner who's been on the show a few times, if you've been listening for a while, and Ryan and his partner Jenny and I have got a course, Proven Private Label, that's coming out. It's version 2. We had a course that's a few years old now. We've gone through, simplified it way down, and we've just got a system now that I think virtually anyone can jump in and just get rocking. Now, it's not the only way to do private label,
right,
but it's very successful. We've got stacks of success stories now. So tell us a little bit about it, Ryan, and you and I can catch the listeners up maybe towards the end of the show on how we know each other and some of those details for those who are interested. But man, let's just jump right in and educate people that it's private label on Amazon is not complicated. Please don't go buy a multiple $1,000 course to do this, guys.
Right, exactly. So I think a way to understand something many times is a good way to do it is to understand what it's not. And so for me, the harder, scarier way to private label, again, not that sourcing overseas is a bad thing to do. We have a product that we're doing we had to source it overseas. I know a lot of people in your community, Jim, do it very, very successfully. I just don't think it's the best place to start.
Agreed.
And for that reason, for the biggest reason is typically sourcing overseas, you're dealing with larger orders, a larger investment. Doesn't mean that later on you get your product going and you want better margins, go overseas, do it. That's great. But when I first started, I just was not in a position to spend thousands of dollars on the product that I wanted to do. And so I kind of stumbled upon this method, and essentially it's sourcing domestically. I use a lot of wholesale suppliers, which means it's very low minimums. A lot of times as low as a 1 case of an item, so 12. Some suppliers don't care if you buy 1 even, which is ridiculous. You don't have the headache of customs. You got the low shipping costs, and of course the speed. Sourcing overseas, you got 30 to 60 days easily, sometimes 90 days, whereas this, it's super quick. I have one supplier that is local actually, and I can email them in the morning, and 2 hours or so later, they have a guy delivering the product to my driveway. We have a neighbor girl that comes over and processes it. So super fast replenishment. But essentially, it's the opposite of the harder, scarier way is the easy way. And so just so super excited to partner up with Brett. His method, the PPI, works perfectly with this. And we can talk about that too.
Yeah. Well, we've kind of, if you take a step back and look at a 10,000-foot view of what we've done here, we don't teach just private label or just wholesale or just optimization of your keywords.
Sure.
We see this all as one big ball of opportunity, and we don't care what the source of the product is.
Correct.
We want to find profitable products. And one of the ways you can do that is through this very simple private label strategy that marries, yes, the keyword strategies we talked about, the wholesale strategies, and private label. So our Proven Private Label course that's coming, the link will be in the show notes, listener. If you go to silentjim.com, we'll have links there. It's not going to be expensive. I mean, the basic course itself is going to be under $20, which I know a lot of people will devalue it for that reason. They think,
Right.
Oh, there can't be anything there. It's only $20. Well, the reason we're only charging that is it's just not complicated, guys. So why don't you take us through? You've told us a little bit about what it isn't. I know there's a few other things we could share there. And let me just reemphasize one thing before I turn you loose. Never do we teach our students to go out and spend a bunch of money and then hope it works out. And yes, that includes private label and other courses, other content out there teaches you to go spend a bunch of money, buy a bunch of units. And we say, no, buy 1, buy 5, test. And your next order, once you sell those 5, isn't for 1,000 units. It's for 10 or 20.
Right.
And then you buy 50 and you're slowly inching your way into this. And now you can be super confident. And we've had weeks where we've sold literally millions of some of the private label products we're doing. But in all cases, that is how we did it. We never had this big nervous moment writing a huge check. So I just wanted to maybe overemphasize that point, that everything we're saying today lines up with all the previous podcasts. If you go back and listen to Brett and I talk episode 2, episode 16, episode 31 and 32 even.
Correct.
This all just lines up and makes sense. We've destroyed the element of risk from doing business online with physical products with what we're learning here. So take